So, hello to everyone in Sweden and involved in the Malmö Open. We're sending our best wishes from Brighton Table Tennis Club. We absolutely love your competition and we love FIF. And you have a very special place in our hearts. We look forward to coming back and we're training very hard when we're allowed. And we will be back stronger. Harry would like to say a few words.
Hi Lisa, I am Harry Fraser, I am a child teacher as well. I am looking forward to remember again, and somehow to be teaching this as well with you guys. And I can't wait to see you again as well. How you hold you there in Malmö Open, I'll see you again. I will give you a tour next year today.
Thank you.
So from snowy Great Britain, I'd like to say from Christchurch Warriors, cheerio, have a great Malmö 2021, and we look very much forward to seeing you. If not in Espoo in July, then definitely Malmö 22. So, okay, goodbye, and thank you very much for all that you do for us.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Hi all the friends in sports around the world. My name is Erkki Minala. I'm a goalball athlete from Finland and the gold medalist from the 2012 London Paralympic Games. Do as I and follow the digital edition webcast of the Malmö Open 21, which will be started on Saturday, 13th February at 1 p.m. I'm looking forward to meet all of you again next year in the great Malmö Open event.
Malmö Open, the never-ending story, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. We hope to see you on the web. 2022. We hope to see you in Malmö again.
Hi, I'm Roland Ahlgren from Lions Club Malmö Ellenbogen. We have been working voluntarily with FIF Malmö, Malmö Open and Parasport since 2004. Due to the pandemic, we cannot meet all of you this year's competition. But we wish you all welcome back to Malmö Open 2022. And all the best, and hope to see you next year. And please enjoy the digital show of this year's Malmö Open. Best regards, Roland Ahlgren.
greetings from the sports of goalball and football. We are all missing you here in Malmö this weekend, and we hope that you are all well wherever you are in the world. For the next year, we are working to get an even bigger and better tournament in both football and goalball, so we are looking forward to see you then instead. Please stay safe and see you next year.
Para sports athletes. I want to give you big ratings from the floorball team in FIF Malmö. Hold the distance and take care. Best wishes.
Greetings, Q-Sport lovers all over the place, and especially our wheelchair pool players. A year ago, we had two fantastic events back-to-back at Malmö Open 2020, and we also had a really nice prize ceremony at the gala dinner at the City Hall in Malmö. I was so hoping for us to be able to repeat that this year, but given the unprecedented times we're in, we have to wait another year. So with that said, I would like to welcome you all to Malmö Open 2022.
Hi everybody, my name is Tommy Ure. I'm a table tennis player from Norway. I'm the Paralympic champion from the London 2012 Games. I'm also won many European and World Championships. Normally this time of year I will be traveling to Malmö to compete in the great Malmö Open. This year will be a little bit different, so do as I, watch the digital edition of the Malmö Open starting this Saturday, 13th of February at 1 o'clock. I hope to see you all in Malmö next year, and in the meantime, take care and stay safe, and I'll see you all next year.
This is Malmö calling. There would have been thousands, now there are none. It would have been several days, now it's just a couple of hours. It's a very special year, and it's a very special digital version of Malmö Open 2021. So we're very happy you're joining us in our digital version of Malmö Open, and joining us are also Thomas and Lisa, who are two of the key people behind this version of Malmö Open. Thomas, the next couple of hours, what are we going to see?
It's going to be a great afternoon. We have a section called Meet the Profiles. We have Peter Rosemeyer, table tennis, Nagva Brown, wheelchair basketball, and Sylvester Fleece in para hockey.
Cool. What more, Lisa?
We're also going to have an interesting discussion with representatives from all the Nordic countries regarding parasport in the different countries going on.
Even more, I guess?
Of course. We have one section called Questions and Answers, and people from all over the world have sent questions to us, and we will try to answer them.
We hope so. Yeah. What else would you like to mention, Lisa?
We will have some sports action too. We're going to have an exciting match in between a boccia player and a bull player. So there is going to be some sports action going on.
Looking forward to all this. So there's something to do even when we can't meet in real life. Last year, we could meet in real life. Let's have a look what that was like. And maybe, if you were here, you're in the pictures. So, were you able to spot yourself in the compilation? Well, let's get this show on the road with one of the most celebrated Nordic parasport athletes in recent years. He's twice over world champion. He's twice over Olympic gold medalist in the Paralympics. He's from Denmark, not that he can help that. His name is Peter Rosenmeier. Welcome.
Thank you.
How's this year been for you?
Yeah, well, it has been absolutely terrible. Like for the rest of the athletes around the world. It's the first time in 20 years that I haven't competed in a calendar year, so it has been awful. And it's something that you're really looking forward to now. But also in the fact that I can practice as I want to, and I can play the matches that I want to in practice. But it's different playing in the national center in Denmark, and then suddenly find yourself in an Eastern European venue out in the middle of nowhere or in Asia, and you really don't know where you are. So I just hope that we get some chances to play before the Tokyo Games, and this setting in Malmö has been perfect for me to start up the year as always. But now again, this is also postponed or cancelled like so many other.
How many years have you been competing in February here in Malmö?
I started competing in swimming here when I was 7, I think, so it must be something around nearly 30 years. And I don't think I have missed a single one. So, yeah.
How do you tackle mentally that things are the way you just described them? To not, I mean, you have a major part of your professional career behind you, but you're still aiming for the top. But how do you tackle this mentally with the virus?
It's extremely difficult, but I try to find comfort in the fact that I have competed so many years that I have, and the fact that some of my competitors, my worst competitors, are still quite young. So this can be one of the first times for them. So I think that I hope that I will come out more prepared and in a calmer position than they are, and hopefully that will gain to my advantage when we are staged in Tokyo.
You yourself compete in class M6, and as I mentioned, you have several gold medals in varying high profile tournaments. What would you put on top? What is the peak of your career so far?
The peak was actually when I won the European Championships here on my second home soil in Sweden last year, because I had a goal that I wanted to be a reigning champion in all the 3 big championships, and I completed that in Helsingborg in 19. So that was perfect for me. So now I'm aiming for the hat trick in the Paralympic gold medals, but also my 5th Paralympic medal in as many games. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And I have I actually don't know how many the best Danish Paralympian has ever won, but I want to be the one that have taken most medals in the same amount of games.
We all wish you all of luck with that.
Thanks.
You and I have met several times, and I'm always struck by your professionalism. But what would you say has taken you where you are? Is it the difference between talent and pure hard training? What is the balance there?
I think that my biggest advantage is that I have been able to play a lot. Not play as in doing a lot of games and a lot of sessions, but play as in things you are doing with your children. We do a lot of crazy, silly things every single time we practice, so that I can keep up the motivation, so that it will never be boring to go to training, so that I always have something to look forward to, even in the sessions where it is boring, because it is sometimes, and you have to do some technical stuff that you have to repeat over and over again, and that is boring. But we always end up with some trick shots or shooting against somebody or something, which do that you're always happy when you go from training. And I think that has been a big focus point for me throughout my career, and I think that's the reason why I can still keep on doing what I do, even though I've been there in the top for over 20 years.
I think this is the single piece of advice that's maybe the best I've ever heard. Keep playing. I love that. Always a pleasure having you, Peter. Best of luck in the future.
Thanks.
Well, guys, Malmö Open has been around for way over 40 years. Let's have a look in the rearview mirror. So welcome back to the Malmö Open studio, where we're getting ready to meet with a group of parasport leaders from the Nordic countries. We're trying to keep this conversation digitally. It's going to be somewhat of a challenge. We'll see what happens, since all participants are sitting in their respective home countries. But welcome, one and all, from Norway, Finland, Denmark, Iceland, and the Faroe Islands, and of course Sweden. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
We'll start out with, I think, Åsa Linnares Norlin, chairman of the Swedish Parasport Federation. I got to ask you to start with, what has the pandemic year been like for you and your organization?
As for everyone else, it has been a great challenge. What I also think is that for once, I think that we can show the rest of the world how it is to have a disability, because I think we all have been increased in what we can do and when we can do it and with whom. So in that way, I think it has been actually good for us in that way. But for the organization, most of the things are on hold actually. So that's been quite challenging.
I was just going to ask that. What is the greatest challenge in these strange times?
I think it's just to keep up with the good work. I mean, some of our competitors and sports athletes, they are themselves in a way kind of a risk in the targeted group for having COVID. So we have to take even more precautions in our different sports arrangement and everything. So yeah, that has been something. But I think we have been talking to our leaders around the country, and they are doing a fantastic job during this time, and they have found other ways to encourage the athletes in different ways.
But to be quite frank, already before the pandemic, there has been tendencies that recruiting new, especially young para-athletes has become increasingly harder. Mikkel Mølgaard Nielsen from Parasport Denmark. How do we attract more people with disabilities to become athletes?
In fact, if not the biggest, one of the biggest challenges in parasport, and not just in the Nordic Scandinavian nations, but whenever you're together with other European nations, in fact, all over the world, it's more or less the same discussion we always have. How do we attract more athletes? I don't have the keys, but I can perhaps tell a little about how we try to find new ways of recruiting athletes here in Denmark. And here we're talking about children, young people, but also elder people, because that's the special thing about parasport, that you recruit them also when they're a bit older, because they have been an accident of a different kind. Here in Denmark, we have worked with a project called Rising Stars now for a couple of years. And the idea is that as a parent, as a child, as a young people, we think it's important that we have an attractive offer, you know, what we offer young people that should start up in parasport should be attractive. What we try to do here in table tennis, where we started up this Rising Star project, different places in Denmark, is that we have very good coaches there, coaches that has experience with doing parasport, table tennis, athletics and swimming, which are the three sports that we are working with at the moment. We also have present some of the best para-athletes. Let us take table tennis, for instance.
I mean, you have Peter Rosenmeier.
Yeah, exactly, you know, so to be familiar with most of you here. And, you know, we have our national coach in table tennis, and we have Peter. And, you know, parents coming in with their children, you know, and we meet every 2 weeks, you know, twice a month here. And, you know, they training for 1.5 hours. You see parents coming in with children. They go away there with happy children. When your child is happy, then the parents are also happy. And, you know, because there's quality in the training, and they are together with other young people, children with a disability. So that's where you start up, that you come into training and see someone that looks a little bit like you. And then the parents could go to Peter and see, Peter, how have you coped with playing table tennis, for instance, for the first time? And this match between quality in training and some athletes that have a disability themselves, that has been giving quite good results. At the moment here, we have around 15 young people. We're talking from the age of 6 up to 15, just here in the Copenhagen. And I know this is not football and handball, but in parasport, having 15 children, young people playing table tennis at that way, I know from the other guys sitting around here, that's something. And now we have moved it on to athletics and swimming. And what is also interesting is that we have worked very much with branding in this Rising Stars project, which also do that the able-bodied sports federation, you know, they are also interested in it, because the idea is, of course, that they will train, you know, for some time, and then we put them out in the able-bodied sports club. So we mature them, we make them better together, and then they have to go, or they will have to go out to the able-bodied table tennis club to start playing there. We prepare them, you know, for the able-bodied sports club.
I like the way you put the words there. We mature them. It's like you're making a good whiskey.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, but, you know, yeah. I think we mature them for sport, you know, being able to playing together with able-bodied table tennis player, you know, because this group here, they will go to different clubs all over the Copenhagen area in the table tennis. So that's the idea, to mature them, you know, making them ready to take the next step. And then we still will continue that they will meet from time to time, you know, because in general, you know, parents would like to see their child, you know, if the child has some kind of disability, together with some of the other kids without a disability, you know.
Of course.
The sort of the inclusion things. So also to that kind of from that kind of aspect, we prepare them to be ready, to play together with.
Thanks a lot, Mikael. We'll circle
tennis.
back to you in quite a short time. As we all know, the prospects are everywhere, even in the Faroe Islands, with a total population of just over 50,000 people. That's not a whole lot. There's still a lively branch of parasporters. Have a look.
Det er ikke en spurning hva du kanst, men hva du vilt.
So, Trond Ramsfjell, how do you work to attract more people with disabilities to start with parasport?
With a country with about 50,000 inhabitants, it's a challenge, Michael talked about 15 athletes being a success in table tennis. We are down to 3-4 athletes in some sports, but we try to do it, and what we do is similar things as Michael talked about, but we try also to get them out to compete. A bit early in their career, they can go out to compete in Nordic events, and we put a lot of light on them, and we try to make it attractive to be a para-athlete.
This exchange, when they come out at the occasions that they do to compete in other countries, what kind of an effect does that have on the young athletes with disabilities?
It has a massive effect. For the first time, they can see athletes with similar disabilities as themselves. That's one thing, but they mature very fast when they get to go out and meet other on a similar level, and they mature on a personal level and on a sports level as well. So it has a great effect, and it's very important for their development as human beings and athletes.
The recruiting video we just saw, that was stunningly beautiful.
Yeah, we are lucky we had the sponsor helping us to make a recruiting video, and it had some effect as well. So we are happy about that. Thank you.
I'm happy to hear it. We'll move on a bit north to Iceland, where we have Olafur Magnusson. How do you guys work to increase the status of Nordic parasport?
We do it by trying to increase our media attraction to parasport. We celebrated our 40th anniversary last year, and we got the Iceland TV to make a show about the 40 years of parasport. It was a huge success. We also used newspapers to tell about our work here in Iceland. And we, of course, used our role models in order to show young kids how and what they can be able to do. So,
how important is exactly this, that there are role models for the young athletes to look up to?
I mean, I think that is the best way to attract young people. We remember all the big stars, no matter whether it was from South Africa or Sweden. If people have a role model, and especially if it's from your country, they always draw attention and bring people into clubs. It doesn't matter whether it's a disabled sport or able-bodied. If we don't have the role models, nothing happens. That's our point of view.
Great, thank you very much. I think we'll roll east to Rika Juntunen in Finland. What's your take on this question on increasing the status of the parasport game?
Well, of course, like we all know that the Tokyo game and the Paralympic Games, they are the big. It's the time for all of us, of course, to do it together, but also to show the rest of the countries that the athletes are really the athletes. It's I'm not saying that the para athlete needs to be a superhero, but they are heroes anyway.
Oh yeah.
But to be able to compete, to be able to go there, and you have your own goal and you try to reach it. You have coaches and the rest of the team supporting you. It's fantastic, and then it's ours. It's us, the staff who works at the office. It's our work to show that to other people. And like Olafur said, we need the media with us. So that's not only happening during the games, but that's the one we have to work with our national medias, all the time before the games, and especially now when there are not so big results from NHL or NBA. Okay, a little bit, but not so much. So there are not so many results, but there is sport news every day. So we have to, give them stories how the athletes are training during COVID, how they're preparing to Tokyo, how they're preparing already to Beijing. Next weekend we're gonna have the World Cup in Pyhä for para snowboarding. So we have to tell the media what's happening here. It's not that they don't want to tell it, but they don't know, and we need to know what happens. And then it's also good that we know what's going on in Iceland or in Sweden, because the medias in Nordic countries, they also work together, and they know what's going on in different countries. So it's important for us to know each other as well.
I mean, I'm a former journalist myself, and I know what it's like to be on the other side, where you need to decide and prioritize on what kind of news to cover. From your perspective, what would be the game changer, the thing that you think really could attract the media?
For instance, media loves stories. And I'm not saying that, of course, Olympic athletes, they have their stories, how they, from my family, I live here far away from the others, and then I win a gold at the Olympic Games in javelin because I'm from Finland. But the stories that the para athletes have, they're different. And people are really, they want to hear the stories. And we spoke a little bit about role models. And that's what the para athletes, they share. Each of them, they have their own, difficulties, and they find the result. And they wanted to, if you want something really hard and you work for it, and it's not only in sports, but it's also in academic world. It's everywhere. So for me, the para athletes are not only role models in the field of play, not in sports, but in a society overall.
Kiitos, Rika. And I just learned that also I wanted to add a few things to this discussion about role models. What are your thoughts, Åsa?
Yes, thank you very much, Daddy. I have a disability myself, so I think one other thing that is really important about role model is to build your identity. I was talking about with a girl yesterday who is into sport, and she's very, very good in her sport now, in the parasport. She's quite new here, but she has been competing with people without disability for a long, long while. And now she had started to come into this parasport as well. And for her, it's a whole new world to even see herself as a person or an athlete with a disability or with an impairment. And I think that is also really important to me, as somebody else was mentioning, to have someone else that you can mirror yourself into and see. Because if you have a kind of smaller disability and you are competing with people without disability, one day or the other, will be able to do that any longer. So I think it's also a matter of building up your own identity.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more on that one. And building up reputation, of course, a window into parasport that could make a world of difference are the championships and the tournaments, like Malmö Open every year, except 2021, of course. And in Norway, the aim is set high. Another great video. Ola Keul, event director for World Para Snow Sports Championships in Lillehammer this year. You're also planning for a big event in Oslo 2022. Please tell us a little about it.
Yes. Thank you for that, Teddy. I mean, in Lillehammer next year, we are actually now planning to host the first ever joint world championship for alpine skiing, for snowboarding, cross country, and for biathlon. And this event was originally scheduled to take place this week, actually. But we had to postpone the event until January 2022.
I wonder why.
So, yes. And this, but we will actually keep the name Lillehammer 2021, even if we organize the event next year.
Is that as like so making a mark, or why do you keep the name?
We was actually inspired by the Tokyo Olympic and the Paralympic Games, which who choose also to retain their name, even though the event was actually postponed for 1 year. So this rescheduled World Championship, it will be the largest parasport event that we have hosted here in Norway since the 1994 Paralympic Games. So we are expecting up to 30 nations and about 700 participants from those nations.
So combining all these sports for the first time, what kind of boost compared to a regular tournament do you think this will give you?
We hope that this will give us all the attention that the sport and the athletes really deserves. And we have talked about this earlier here today, the importance of focusing on also parasports and the athletes. So one of our goals with this event is to try to create new role models and heroes.
That was very nicely done. You took some of the things we talked about and you just like tied it together. Well done. I actually would like to circle back to Åsa, because I know there's a few things cooking in Sweden as well when we talk about tournaments. I would like to ask you, how important do you think events and tournaments are to build a hype around parasport?
Oh, really important. And even if, it is important, but it's also fun to come together and having a joint adventure where you can meet others, compete together, meet new friends, build, networks. It's really, really important. And I think, as you were talking about, I think a little bit beforehand, about media and the media's role in this. We actually just have one times every 4 years, or every second year actually, and that's the Winter and Summer Paralympics, where the world will see parasport. And I think that people are interested in parasport and the stories behind and this great achievements. So I think it's really important to have events around sport.
So hang in there and we'll have a little sneak peek on what's cooking in Sweden and Stockholm. Yeah, so Åsa, what's in the pipeline?
Yeah, we are actually increasing our winter sport. We are a winter country, so in 2023 we will have a big event in Sweden where we are focusing on the winter sports.
That sounds great. Best of luck with that.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to Finland and Riikka Juntunen. How important do you think developing the club exchange between the countries is for the parasport movement?
Really important, and it's important to develop two kind of clubs because we have the able-bodied clubs where, for instance, most of our swimmers, table tennis players, athletes in athletics and so on. So most of the athletes are in able-bodied sports clubs, and we need those as well. But we need the clubs where people with disabilities can start, or they can do, for instance, goalball is one of those sports. And this question sounded like, my background as a former goalball coach. I've been, for instance, coaching FIF Malmö once in Malmö Open with Peter Björkstrand. And, changing or developing, it's not only developing the sport, but it's developing ourselves. So from coach to coach, from athlete to athlete, I'm really proud that we have, I know that some of the Finnish and Danish athletes have been training and playing together with Swedish athletes in Swedish clubs and so on. So the athletes have been doing it, but I think we need to do it more, and we have to not push, but say that, it's something that we would like to see. We need to motivate the athletes also to do it together, because all of us are small countries, really small countries with long distances, and we don't have so many athletes. So the stronger we are together, I think the better we will do. And might be that in some sports we don't have a team. For instance, a very new sport, blind hockey. We started in Finland, one club called Aisti. They started in Finland a little bit more than a year ago, and we had Swedish guys training together with us in Finland. So they heard about it and they wanted to participate in a game here. And Aisti is one of the clubs. It's run by athletes who have visual impairment, and they want to develop the blind sports in their region. So I think we need to be creative, but we also need to give people the possibility to go their own way. So I don't think that blind hockey will be the it's not going to be in Paralympic Games in few years. It's very popular in Canada, but I think in some of the countries that we have in the Nordic countries, ice hockey is really popular, and we have athletes who have a disability who want to play hockey. So can we promote that? So
of course you can, but I must say, to me, blind hockey sounds like something for athletes that like to live dangerously.
Oh yes, and the best thing is that the player who sees less is the goalie.
This is wonderful. It sounds so cool. I'm looking forward to seeing this kind of game not too far from now. Thank you, Rika. In Denmark, Mikael Mølgaard Nielsen, you're just across the water from Malmö. I would like to move on to the topic of this weekend's tournament, Malmö Open, that we can't really host this year. How do you see, as our neighbors, the importance of Malmö Open as a tournament?
It's very much about what we talked about earlier about the Lillehammer Winter Games, having this big event. You can be part of it as an athlete, and for our 2024-2028 athletes going to Paris and Los Angeles, it's a fantastic possibility to compete, try perhaps for the first time to compete international. That's probably how we use it in Denmark. Some of our clubs, go to Malmö, or some of our national talent teams, youngster team, goes to Malmö Open. And also for the spectators, as I told you a little bit earlier about how we did with the Racing Stars, going to Malmö Open, we often say to some of the parents, take your kid with you to Malmö Open, see how this parasport is. There are a lot of different sports there. So event, could be a way to inspire new athletes, and also giving next generation of athletes a possibility to compete international.
Yeah. One could say that it's a very compact promotion window when everything is held so closely within the city of Malmö.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I was at. I shouldn't put words in your mouth. Let's go to Iceland. Olafur Magnusson, what does it mean for your athletes to participate in Malmö Open?
That's a huge impact, and we have offered our clubs in Iceland to go and participate in Malmö. But regarding Malmö Open and making it bigger and so on, I think we have to take a political decision. What I mean is we have to, in order to increase the participation in Malmö Open, and both on club side and as well for our elite athletes. I think the board in each and every country has to give out some signals that this is something really exciting to take part in. That's our point of view.
In Faroe Islands, Trondheim, what kind of weight does Malmö Open as a tournament carry for your athletes?
We have a long time ago we have decided that we want to have as many athletes as possible in Malmö Open. In the 80s, 90s, or whenever it started, in the starting of Malmö Open, we entered it in every games, but then there was a small break. But now we have decided that we want as many athletes to go as possible, and also because we don't have so many competitions locally, so it's a great opportunity for them, and perhaps the first competition for them, for many of them at least, and at a good level as well.
Of course, I mean, there's the world top level presence at Malmö Open, needless to say.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make a little experiment. We're closing in on the end of this part of our transmission today. And I would like to, instead of putting out a question to a certain person out of the six of you, I'll just throw out this question. How do you plan for the Paralympic Games in Tokyo, and will it even be held? That's
it will be
a
held.
big quiet. Okay,
No.
Åsa, you're first.
Yeah, it will be held. It's going to be a big challenge for every country to go there, because you need to be in that bubble. And we actually just have an experience from that from the alpine skiing competition down in Austria at the moment, where someone our team and from Finland as well get the coronavirus, and how we have to isolate them and take precautions from that. So I think it will be a big challenge for everyone. But at the end of the day, I think that I don't have to worry if Tokyo will be or not, because it's not I who's going to make that decision.
So let's see how your colleagues respond to this. Anyone?
Yeah, we will go to a Tokyo. I wouldn't doubt it, and if I did doubt it, I wouldn't say it here. But I think it's. I think it will take place just like Åsa said there. There's still a long road to Tokyo, and the challenge is, of course, to get our athletes prepared. With all respect for the corona regulation, that I see as one of the big challenges. But the Tokyo Games will take place. I'm quite sure about that.
Iceland, what do you say?
Our athletes, they are capable and ready to go there. So we are on track. We will be there.
It will be good to see you there. Hey guys, we're closing up. We're very thankful that you took this time to join us, and it's been very interesting experiment to hold a discussion in this fashion. I hope you got something out of it as well. Thank you all, guys. We'll see you around.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Man behöver inte mer än Malmö, då har man liksom hela världen.
En lugn stad som inte försöker bevisa någonting riktigt.
Jag är stolt att jag bor här i Malmö. Bästa stad, Malmö.
Det är ju min hemstad och så är det bara.
Jag är faktiskt här nog 4 till 5 månader i veckan.
Om man går in så kan man vara trött, det kan ösregna, och så när man går ut så är man pigg.
Man känner sig alltid som en ny människa.
vad jag gör just nu är att jag gör en nudelrätt som heter bien bien. Och namnet får man från ljudet som vi skapar när man slår till den på bordet. Är man en matälskare så ska man komma till Malmö. Här finns det en stor variation av det.
Nästan alla som bor i Malmö, de känner hela trappan.
Syftet att alla kvinnor får jobb och få alla kvinnor ut, inte stanna hemma. Vi är blandat svenska invandrare från olika länder. Mycket glädje, det är action i Malmö.
Jag har bott här i 25 år ungefär. Det är en lugn och skön stad. En stor småstad kan man väl säga.
Jag gillar Malmö för att det är liksom en ganska bekväm stad. Man kan liksom cykla överallt och vara överallt på ganska kort tid. Kunna vara vid havet vid typ på 10 minuter. Vara här på 10 minuter och sen cykla till jobbet.
Right, welcome back. We're changed venue from the hall next door to this hall, where there's going to be a really interesting and very different game. A game of bocce, but not only between a bocce player to the left, but a pétanque player of world ranks. We'll start with you, Joakim Andersson. You have a game that is quite similar, but still very different from Magnus's bocce. Could you explain what is the biggest differences?
The biggest difference is the tactical choices you make during the game. It's vice versa from my game in this one. But I will try to give them a good match today.
Could you explain for us that don't play this regularly, the difference between how the balls behave in your sport and in Magnus's bocce?
Yes, well, in my sport, you throw the ball in the air and they stop quite fast. It's quite the difference here. You need to use the floor more, but in my sport, you use the air more. You throw them in the air. That's the biggest difference, really.
So, Magnus, this is your backyard. Well, not the hall here, but the game. So what kind of advantages will you have now?
Maybe the ball is not so heavy, and we play inside with the gym floor, and I use much of the floor when I play, and bocce have much tactic too.
If you would, for a moment, be a salesman trying to sell bocce to others, how would you explain the joy of the game?
I hope so many people can try to play bocce. It's very nice to play. You give many good time, and I think it's very good for many people. And much handicap can play.
That's very good. Guys, this is going to be an interesting game. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to go on to something completely different.
Så hur är det med motivationen nu då?
Det har varit lite upp och ner. Ena dagen kan jag vara jättepeppad på att gå ut och springa, få det gjort. Och andra dagar kan det bara vara att nej, nu känner jag inte riktigt för det.
Men du längtar efter att verksamheten ska komma igång igen då?
Ja, 100%.
Vad är det du ser mest fram emot?
Nej, men att träffa lagkamraterna, börja spela fotboll igen.
Vi hoppas att det sker så fort som möjligt.
Ja.
Och i livet i stort i övrigt, liksom, hur har det påverkat dig?
I övrigt har det väl inte påverkat mig så, förutom att jag saknar mina kompisar på fotbollen, innebandyn och inte kunna prata med dem. Men sen samtidigt så har jag ju mitt gym som jag kan träna på. Som, ända sedan jag blev permitterad så tränar jag 2 gånger om dagen, 6 dagar i veckan. Och hade jag inte haft det, då vet jag inte riktigt. Då hade det varit ännu jobbigare.
Rörelse i glädje, engagemang och välmående. Därför arbetar Svenska Spel tillsammans med Riksidrottsförbundet och specialidrottsförbunden för att sänka tröskeln till rörelse. Med hjälp av specialidrottsförbundens kunskap och kreativitet inspirerar vi fler att bli fysiskt aktiva. Tillsammans gör vi stor skillnad. Genom sponsringsavtal och fonden där specialidrottsförbunden kan söka medel för projekt som underlättar för barn, unga, vuxna och äldre att röra på sig. Vårt samarbete har redan satt över 200 000 personer i rörelse. Nu ökar vi takten för att tillsammans skapa en idrottsrörelse där alla får plats, oavsett förutsättningar och prestationsnivå.
Hi, my name is Hanna Isaksson and I work at Parasport Sweden as a project manager. I would talk to you today about motivation during a pandemic and why. Because it's so important. Regardless if you're a boy or a girl, if you have a disability or not, it's very important to keep yourself physically active. And it's even more important for us who have a disability. Because children, adolescents and adults who has disabilities and participates in organized sports have higher self-esteem, increased social contacts, better self-confidence, higher quality of life and improved ADL capability. And this is of course no news for all of you who are listening now. The background of this is it is actually 10 times as common with ill health with people with disabilities and almost 3 times as common with mental ill health within people with disabilities. And you might think that, okay, they have disabilities, of course they have less health. That is not the issue. This is unnecessary health problems. That is obesity, smoking, lack of physical activity and alcohol. So these things are not cut in stone. We can change them, and that is good news. It doesn't have to be like this. It can be a better situation. Before we go into motivation, I'm going to speak a bit about the brain, actually. Because mankind, we tend to forget that we are a biological creature. We are actually built in the same way as we were when we lived on the savannah and lived as hunters and collectors. And the brain is exactly the same. And the stress system is built for facing threats like, oh, there's a snake over there. Oh, it's a hostile neighbor. And it's made to either run or fight or play dead when we face a dangerous situation. Very helpful on the savannah when a snake comes or a tiger. Not very helpful when you have mortgages, payments of your loans, or your children don't get into the school they want to, or you have a boss who have too high demands on you. Then the stress system is not very helpful. Because the reactions are the same. You want to fight, run, or play dead. That means that you can be in your bed at night and be totally safe in any way, and you can still work yourself up to total panic and stress because the brain cannot distinguish between real threats and perceived threats. You can imagine problems and get all your systems of stress working. And this is very important to remember, that the brain can't distinguish between these two things, real threats and perceived threats. And a part of this is what I call the autobahn of the mind. The brain has neurological networks. And this means that thinking thoughts that you usually think a lot is very, very easy. Either it's I suck or I'm the best, I'm the winner. It's very easy to think thoughts that you think a lot. This is like autobahn. It's 4 lanes, you can drive at any rate. It goes so fast and it's very easy. Thinking new thoughts is like trying to struggle in the woods, in a forest, in a small path and making your way through the wilderness. It's very hard and it takes much more energy of the brain. So which way do you think the mind takes when it faces a problem? Very much the autobahn. Keep that in mind. If you have a thought that you don't want to think, my brain is trying to take the autobahn. I can take the other way if I want to. So we can talk a lot about what keeps people sick, but I wouldn't want to talk about that. I want to speak about what makes us feel healthy and preserve our health. One of these things is a sense of coherence. Adam Antonovsky made a study with women who had survived concentration camps in Nazi Germany. And he thought these women should feel terrible and have extreme pressure on their psychological systems. But in fact, many of them managed quite fine. And he couldn't imagine why. How come they feel so fine, even though they've been through hell? Well, it's 3 three big components that makes people manage even though life is very stressful. One part is comprehensible. You understand what life demands of you. It's predictable and explainable. The next thing is if your life is manageable. I have what it takes to do this, and that means external and internal resources. But the most important component is meaningfulness. Is this thing meaningful for me? Does it make sense to me? These things are very important for us to keep our health. So, if we all know what makes us healthy and what makes us sick, why don't we all do the right things? Well, the problem is going from will to action. The earliest view was that if everyone knows smoking is bad, then no one is going to smoke. And we all know that is not the case. The problem lies, as I said, as going from will to action. And there are a few traps that our minds play on us that I want you to be aware of. The first one is the group trap. The group trap is that we do as our group does. If I happen to be in a group that everyone is exercising every day, then I am more likely to also exercise every day. If I'm a member of a group who doesn't exercise, I'm less likely to do exercise because it's more demanding of me. So we tend to do as our group does. So pick the right groups. The next one is the carpe diem trap. That is, we tend to seize the day. I just want today. I had a bad day or a good day or wherever, and we take that extra party candy. And that can in the short run be fine, but in the long run, it can mean that you gain weight. Another big trap I want to talk to you and warn you about is the optimism bias. The brain is unfortunately constructed in a way that we see threats more easy than rewards. And this means that if you ask smokers, for example, if they believe that smoking causes cancer, then almost 100% says yes. If you ask them, are you going to get cancer? Then the majority says, no, not me. And this is optimism bias. We think we all have less risk for disease, and we all think we have enough exercise. Can be important to keep in mind. The next trap is the shortcut trap. And this means generally the brain is created to save energy, and it wants to save energy as much as it can. So if we have an easy way, we take it. If we have a shortcut, we take it. So what can we do to make better choices in our lives? Well, one thing we can do is to create behavioral insight. If I want to say exercise more, do like this. Check what prevents you, what stops you from performing the desired behavior. Check what motivates you, what makes you want to do what the necessary change is, or to perform the desired behavior. And also, what physical and digital decisions environment is appropriate change. For example, if you have people taking, if you offer people big plates, then people are going to take larger portions of food. If you put forward smaller plates, people are going to take less food. This is what we call nudging, and it's a very effective way to work with behavioral changes. Also, it's important to have a plan for obstacles, because there's always going to be obstacles in your change, in your wish to change. And our ability to handle obstacles is called psychological flexibility. If I know maybe my transport isn't coming today, what am I going to do then? If I have a plan, if this obstacle shows up, then I'm much more likable to actually do what I intended to do. So, your obstacle for change, identify the obstacles, external and internal, that stands in the way for your change. Analyze the result and decide which obstacles are most important and try to make a plan for them. And in these pandemic times, important to remember is try to keep doing things that usually gives you joy and an energy. Try to maintain as many routines that you can. Get outside, move outside in daylight every day. Keep track of your sleeping habits. Spend time with others outdoors, of course, and infection-proof. Avoid alcohol, tobacco, and drugs, of course. And we also have to come to terms with this situation. Acceptance. It sucks, but we accept it. It's the way it is. And keep an eye on warning signs, such as if you notice reduced motivation, or you start to get careless with your clothes or eating. Because some of the best things we can do to train our ability to withstand stress, our stress resilience, is to exercise, use the power of thought of your mind, eat sensibly, sleep enough, experience nature and culture, increase your skills, rest actively, take a relaxation course. Because we have to distinguish what we can change and what we have to accept. And we have to learn to deal with the stress that is inevitable in our lives. And we also have to normalize the fact that life sometimes hurts and sucks. Examine how you really want your life to look like, and how to deal with obstacles so you can create the life you want to live. Good luck, everybody, and hope to see you soon.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of evidence from research that physical activity is important and even vital, not only to young people, but also to elders. That's why Svenska Spel, one of the main sponsors for Swedish Sports Federation and Malmö Open, is behind an initiative that in Sweden is called Tillsammans för fler i rörelse. Say that twice fast. No, never mind. Roughly it means together to get people moving. And two of the ambassadors for this initiative are here with us. Welcome online, Emily Endre, and here in the studio, Niklas Ingvarsson. And I'll start to move to you, Emily.
Yes.
What is it that you want people to know and actually to do?
I think, as you said, physical activity is important for everyone, and especially if you have some sort of disability, I think it's even more important that you move the parts that you can and try to be physically active.
The fact that you yourself are active in sports, what has that given you in terms of feeling good, having good health?
Yeah, so much. Both, I think, my mentally well-being and also physical. I have been much stronger and since I started playing table tennis, and so I think it has helped me in so many ways.
So, Niklas, what are your thoughts on this issue?
What mine?
The thing that we want people to know and do. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, even if we have a strange situation and life is not really as normal, you can do a lot of exercise and you can keep yourself in good shape if you just want. And if you find ways to train and to have fun when training, you will feel a lot much better than if you stop training. So find your way to do something fun.
Emily said something really interesting. Training makes her feel good both mentally and physically. How much do you think, what kind of role does training mean for your mental health?
It means a lot that if you keep doing your training, you feel more happy. You can focus much longer. You are more alert during the whole working day. I can take an example for myself. During the first period of the lockdown, when training was a little bit down and I didn't really know what to do, so I trained a lot less, and I felt that I got more and more tired during the day, and I did less things. And after a while, when I started to find good ways to practice, I got stronger, I got more alert and could do much more things and started to get more happy again.
Put out energy, get more energy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty fantastic. So, Emily, what are your best tips on getting started with training and keeping at it?
I think the most important thing is just to find something that you love to do and something that you enjoy. And also don't put like pressure on yourself. Just like do it for fun, and that will makes it more easy to keep it up.
Speaking of finding something that's fun, if you would not have been a table tennis player, what would you have chosen as your sport of choice?
That's a tricky question. Maybe tennis or something like that.
Yeah, it's a bit bigger ball.
Pretty close.
Niklas, you're in the area. How do you do? How do you keep yourself in good physical shape in these very strange Corona times? What is it that you found that you talked about?
For me, I've been doing a lot of different things, and it has been really interesting to explore different ways of practice. And during the summer time, it was very easy to find way to practice. You could be outside. I was going by bike. I did roller skiing, and I had a lot of outside activities together with my daughter. And you can do so much thing in your ordinary life that gives you training as well. So that was really easy. And now in winter time, I'm doing a lot of different things at home. I have a plastic ice for practicing passes and a stick handle. I do shooting practice, and I've learned to do a lot of different body weight exercises to gain strength. And of course, I have an endurance training machine as well, a skiing machine. So I can do a lot of different things, and I think that's very important that when you're training at home and you train by yourself, make as much variation in the training as possible, because otherwise it's not that fun to do the same thing 6 days a week, or maybe 2 times a day. So you have to do a lot of variation.
Sounds very creative.
So it has been really fun to develop, and I've been able to focus a lot more on what do I need to do to get a better hockey player, because that's my goal, to become a better hockey player, and now been able to focus on those things that I'm not as good at. So actually it has been a very good period for me to develop myself.
I'm glad to hear it, and it's been very inspirational to listen to you, and to you, Emily. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And
thank you.
You and all others should know that now the boccia game is on.
Welcome to the boccia, everybody, at the Malmö Open. It's a pleasure to be part of this event, and hopefully you have fun virtually this year watching it. And we have Joachim Andersen versus Magnus Aikholm. And Magnus is blue and Joachim is red. So Magnus is going to try and get on the jack with his blue ball here. Just something on the jack to make Joachim have to clear it. And that's just a little bit overpaced. It was a good line, but just a bit too hard. And blue will play again. That's a fantastic shot from Magnus. Excellent control and precision. Just used the red there to come in off to the jack ball. And now Joachim has to clear it. Fantastic shot. To go in between those two blue balls is not an easy shot. That is such a difficult shot. And he's played that brilliantly. And you can see when Magnus hit the red, it's just stuck in the gap. Such a good shot. It's hard to clear that. So if I were Magnus, I'd be nudging on my blue. Good shot. Referee will check that. That was a good shot from Magnus. Even if it's not closer, he played a good shot. Final ball. Yep, good shot again. Even though red is still closer, that is a good shot because it keeps it tight. There's a group of balls around the jack and it stops Joachim scoring more than 1 point. He's got to be very careful, Joachim, because he doesn't want to accidentally hit the blue and give Magnus the point. So he has to be careful here. And you can see he's just not going too close to those blues because he doesn't want to hit one by accident and give away the point that he has earned. So the referee will check it, but it looks as though that's going to be one red, and it's a good start from Joachim. And Magnus has done well to just make that one red. He's kept it tight and he's stayed in the game, which is always a really important part about bocce. You've got to stay in the game, and sometimes a defensive play isn't a bad thing if it keeps you in the match. So the fact it's only 1-red, it's a kind of good start from Joachim, but Magnus is very much in the match. And we will start the second end now. So Magnus will now play the jack. And Joachim played quite a long distance jack. This is much shorter, the one Joachim's playing. So two different players here. One's going long, one's going short. And Magnus has played an excellent first shot, touching the jack. And it just makes your opponent have to clear it. And Joachim had to clear that blue, and he's just missed it because of a good start from Magnus. So blue is still on the jack, and Joachim will try and clear the blue off the jack so he can see the jack. That's a very good shot. Excellent pace control and distance control to stop that next to it. Very good shot from Joachim. Again, just wedging it between the red and the blue. It's still one blue, but that's a good shot from Joachim because he has to keep the balls close and not leave it open. Another good shot. Even though blue is scoring 1 point, Joachim's last 3 balls were excellent because he's moved it close to the jack ball, his 3 balls, and it makes Magnus's job of scoring more points much harder. So that is a good defensive shot. So Magnus has moved the jack back, which isn't too bad. If he can hit that blue on, that's a very good shot. Oh, that's close. He tried to bounce over the first 4 balls, and it was very close. But I think he has to try and land on this jack and move it into space. Oh, very close again. He's trying to go through the gap, and he doesn't hit the jack. Again, just getting caught up. So this is an opportunity for blue here with the last shot. Can he get it on the jack? No, it's hit the blue, so that's 1 red. And an opportunity missed probably there by Magnus. He knows it because he opened the jack up. Had a great opportunity there. So it's interesting that red's taken a 2-0 lead. Blue had a chance there to get back in the game and had plenty of balls to try and get the points. But at 2-0, he's still very much in the game, Magnus. It's still very close. And it could all change going into the third end. So once again, third end now means that Joachim will now play the jack. He's going to go to a longer distance. And again, one thing you really notice with Joachim is that he's got a very high throw. The ball goes very high up into the air. And this is an opportunity for Magnus because the jack is not covered. And again, another opportunity. First player will be looking to try and get in front of the jack. That's unlucky. That's the right line. Just too much pace. So another chance for Magnus. He needs this shot. And he really needs to get on the jack here with the score being 2-0 to red. He has to try and stay in this end. That's a very good shot. Excellent shot from Magnus. Covered in behind that red, so that's not going to be easy for Joachim to remove it. So he's managed to get the blue out. So Magnus again to play. And that's another good shot. That's very good play from Magnus to leave that ball next to the jack. But it's an opportunity for Joachim here. If he can get a couple from this end, it puts him in the driver's seat of this match. And he's the favourite. And he'll try and move that blue again. Outstanding shot. That's a fantastic shot from Joachim. He's moved that blue and now he has space to put his last ball in. That's very well played. That looks like 2-0 from Joachim. So he took an opportunity there at the end, had a couple of chances and has taken them. And the referee will measure, but it looks as though that's going to be 2 red and a 4-0 lead going into the final end. We'll just see here. Yep, that's 2-0. Excellent play from Joachim. And he'll be very happy with that. That was a crucial moment of the game, you feel. To take a 4-0 lead into the last end means that Joachim is the favourite, but by no means is the game finished. The great thing about boccia is it's never over, and one shot can change a match very quickly. So Magnus has got to start this end very strongly and try and put pressure on Joachim, and he still has a chance. But you would definitely say that Joachim is the favourite going into the final end. So final end, and where's the jack going to be playing? Is he going to keep it the same? Yes, he's decided to go in the same place. And another excellent first shot. He's very good at that, Magnus. His first shot always on the jack, which means Joachim has to clear. That's a good shot. Excellent control to drag the jack ball through with the red. But another opportunity for Magnus. Yes, excellent play. Very accurate to that position. And you can see there, that's, it's not easy for Joachim to get back in. So he's got to be careful. He does have a 4-0 lead, but you never know. Oh, and that's interesting because the jack has moved further behind the blues. So that's not ideal. But he still has another opportunity. And again, another shot. So, 4-0 lead, remember, but balls are running out. He's got to be careful. That's okay. If he can use that, he can maybe knock that or come in off that ball. Okay. That's a good shot. The referee will check the score. This is a crucial shot. 1 ball left. Magnus has 4 balls left. He could still win this game. Well, this is interesting. So that is a good shot because it's kept it tight, but there is a chance for blue. This is a very big opportunity. This game is not over. Magnus can potentially clear that red out the way at the front, but he doesn't want to hit the jack back because if the jack moves towards that red, it limits the amount of space to score points. Oh, and it has. You can see his reaction. His head goes back because he knows that jack's gone closer to the red, which makes it much more difficult for Magnus to get 4 points. Oh, and tries to go over the top there. That's unlucky. So that looks like it's going to be 2 blue. And an opportunity, there was definitely a chance for blue there. And it was an exciting end to the match because blue had a chance to come back. But that looks like it's going to be 2 blue, which the referee will confirm. Yeah, that's 2 blue. So final score is a 4-2 win for Joachim Andersen against Magnus Eichholm. And it was a very interesting match. Magnus did have a chance to come back into that game, but you kind of feel that the start was key. 4-0 lead is not easy to pull back, so probably the start is what cost Magnus. And Joachim started very strongly in the match and ultimately had too big of a lead. So the referee is handing out the medals, and congratulations to Joachim Andersen and commiserations to Magnus Eitholm, who played very well. Thank you for watching.
Congratulations to Joachim Andersen for a great win, and also good game, Magnus. We're changing perspective to a completely different ball game. It's time to meet wheelchair basketball player Nagwa Brown from Denmark. Great you could join us, Nagwa. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm happy to hear that. And I would like to start with asking you, what's your relationship with Malmö Open?
Oh, Malmö Open, it's a very great tournament where you get the opportunity to meet a lot of great players and see how they drive the chairs and the way they shoot, and it's just a great environment to be in.
Please tell us a little about your sporting career for those that don't know you.
Well, I've been playing wheelchair basketball for nearly 8 years now. I started when I got injured, and then I have just been in love with the sport ever since. I've always been a competitive person and did a lot of sport before my injury. And wheelchair was the thing that gave me the competitive and team spirit that I was lacking.
What are you like as a person when you lose a game?
What I like?
What are you like then?
Oh, I'm a very bad loser and a bad winner as well. So it's not a great combination.
So describe yourself as a winner.
I will rub it in your face if I win. If it's a better team, then I will rub it in your face. If it's a lesser than a team, then I will be a good winner.
Okay. So far, what's been in your mind, greatest achievement in your sport?
Well, the greatest achievement is that I got a few offers from overseas to play, and I really couldn't at the time, because one of the time I got injured with my hip, and the second time I had my own business, so it was difficult just to leave. And the third thing was that I actually won Malmö Open MVP 2 years in a row.
That is cool.
That is cool.
I gotta ask you, what your life would have been if you did not have the sport you're doing?
I think I would be a quite boring person. No, if I didn't have the sport, I wouldn't be able to meet all the great people I met in my own way. And for that reason, I don't think that is something I would be without. It kind of shaped me who I am. It made me more competitive. It made me work harder every day to become as good as them, or maybe better.
That's a good thing. That really is. Hey, we're having a strange year, but next year I hope we'll be able to meet in person at Malmö Open. Great to have you with us, Nagwa. Thank you.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
So, who's ready for a very special trick challenge? And so we have a winner. Welcome, Christian Seidel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's been lots of hours to get this far, I guess.
Yeah, I've been playing wheelchair basketball for a really long time, and I have been right now playing for 20 years. And at the time that video was made, I played for 13 years.
But when you did the video, when you were actually in that room shooting, how many 100 times did you have to do it to put the ball in?
Well, I was actually really lucky, and that's why we started filming when we did, because I'd missed my first shot, but then I made my second shot, and then someone dared me to do it again, so I made that one. And then our assistant coach at that time told me, like, well, let's record it and see if you make it. And then I took the ball again and I shot, and it actually went in for
Fantastic. Hey, what's your relation with the tournament, Malmö Open?
So, like I said, I've been playing for a really long time, and I've been competing in Malmö Open for 13 years before going overseas to play basketball.
That's great. And now you've achieved this. And for that trick, that awesome trick, there's a prize of 250 euros. Congrats, Christian Seidel.
Thank you, sir.
What are you going to do with the money?
I will put it back into my basketball career, since we will need, or I will need equipment or anything around to support me playing.
You've played Malmö Open more than a dozen times, and we hope next year we'll see you back in real life.
Me too.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you, sir.
So, back in the studio, it's time for us to meet another parasport profile. Para-hockey legend, Sylvester Fleece from Poland. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
How are you doing today?
Hectic day.
I got to tell the viewers that if they don't know it, you've played in several countries, including being professional in North America, playing with the Chicago Blackhawks. What has been the highlight of your career?
Well, it has to be the Salt Lake City Paralympics, winning a gold medal and being named the MVP of the Paralympics. It's hard to beat that. But I had moments in different places that I do remember. First of all, and I could put it in that basket of my best moments.
But please tell us a little about what you remember from that really, really tough game in Salt Lake.
Well, the game that was the key game, which was the gold medal game. I knew it was not going to be easy, as easy as I throughout the whole tournament.
Who were you up against?
We were against Norway. So that team was back in the days the top team, along with Sweden, and so we knew we had a tough opponent, and I knew personally that I would be more of a passer rather than than a goal scorer. And I do remember I informed the team that that's what it's going to be, that they should expect a lot of passes from me that day, that game.
When you look back to these days, games like that, how does it make you feel that you did get this kind of sporting career?
A lot of things happened that evolved to this, and one of those things was obviously moving from Poland to America, and that gave me an early chance to join sled hockey. If I stayed in Poland, could I become a hockey player? Possibly, but probably around 2000s the time. So it wouldn't be that early as 1994, 1995, 6.
Mm-hmm. And then you would have missed Salt Lake probably.
Exactly.
Hey, I got to ask you, what kind of relationship do you have with Malmö Open?
Well, Malmö Open, it's another story for me. It's not only the event itself, the organization. I'm friend with a lot of people in Malmö, and also the team, the Sledgehammers, which I for few tournaments I joined. I was invited and appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like a relationship with Malmö, the organization, and actually, if going back to your first questions, my moments, there was one moment with Malmö team when we went to Stockholm and we played against very, very tough opponent in the final game, and we beat. We played as the book said, just perfect game. There was no mistakes on our part. Just to tell you how tough the opponent was, in the preliminary games we lost, I don't know, a lot, by 9. So that's how tough it was. So that game was also stuck to my head, and I cherish it till this day.
Thank you so much, Sly, for joining us and telling us about your memories. We hope to see you in Malmö again one day soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, now we're happy to bring you a very special greeting from the chairman of the Swedish Sports Federation, the one and only Björn Eriksson.
Hello everybody, my name is Björn Eriksson and I'm chairman for the Swedish Confederation of Sport. Sport is for everyone. Everybody should have a possibility to participate, and parasport is very, very important in that respect. Normally we have Malmö Open physically. This year is going to be digital for obvious reason. But you are all welcome to participate the 13th. Next year, I do hope we will have it physically again. Welcome.
So we met a lot of interesting personalities in the parasport world today, but did we get answers to all of the questions asked? Maybe not. That's why Thomas and Lisa are back in the studio. Good to see you guys again.
Hi.
So what's this about?
Well, we've had questions from all over the world, and we're going to try to answer them here.
Yeah, the inbox was actually full of questions, and because we're not standing still in the development of the tournament, we want to show you some of the news.
Okay. So how do we do it? How do we do this?
So we have some questions in our inbox from participants.
Okay, I'll try to find it. Yeah, I found it. So I'll just ask you the questions for the people.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay. There's almost a dozen different sports in Malmö Open tournaments. How do you choose a new sport on the program?
Well, during the years, the sports have been changing. We have some traditional sports like table tennis and swimming, and many more that's been on the program for a long time. And then we have newer sports coming in.
Hello to you all at the Digital Malmö Open. I am the president of the European Powerchair Football Association. Last year, we were delighted to be given a small opportunity to display our sport on the periphery of the event, when the Danish national team players travelled to Malmö to demonstrate. Our sport continues to grow throughout Europe, with many new countries, Turkey, Croatia, the Netherlands, all next in line to become new members, and also some interest from Norway at the end of last year too. We have been very fortunate with the Nordic countries. In 2016 and 2018, we hosted our EPFA Champions Cup for club teams in Denmark at the magnificent Egmont Holstein, a great venue for sports, accessible accommodation and wonderful hospitality and food. Also, Finland, our EPFA Nations Cup, was held at the Olympic Training Centre in Paljulahti in May 2019. Again, a wonderful venue for wheelchair sports of all types. We hope that next year we can be with you again in person and introduce more of you to powerchair football. And in the future, that the Nordic Powerchair Football Cup can be realised, including a team from Sweden.
When there's a new sport interested in entering the program, we always have a test year. So it never becomes an official sport from the second year. And also we need great interest from the outside, working with a sport federation. It can be from abroad or from locally in Sweden. They have an interest, and we're talking, and it's trying to develop it together, really.
Is there a limit to how many different sports you can handle during this weekend?
No, not really. It's a competition in Malmö, of course, but we've had interest from Copenhagen and other cities around us of hosting parts of Malmö Open. So, no, we don't have any limits.
Cool. We'll find a new question. Let's see. Oh, I think this is an angry guy. Why don't you offer more accessible hotel rooms?
Yeah, that's a question for our partner Scandic, and of course we are working closely with Scandic regarding this. We chose Scandic as a partner because they are one of the hotels in Scandinavia who offers the most accessible rooms, and they're working really hard on this subject. So during many years we have had a good cooperation, and we're trying to find hotel rooms which are accessible, not only the special accessible rooms, but actually all rooms in the whole hotel.
So let's hear what they got to say.
Hello everyone, I'm so pleased for being a part of the Malmö Open movement, so to speak. My name is Thomas and I work as general manager for Scandic Hotels here in Malmö. We have had a long partnership with Malmö Open, and we really look forward for many years to come. The partnership with Malmö Open is really important for us, because for us in the hotel industry, it's important that every guest is welcome to our hotels. And we will work hard for being available for all guests, and together with Malmö Open, we also work together to really grow availability in our hotels. So more and more of our rooms will be available for everyone, although it independent of what kind of need you have when you are a guest. And together with Malmö Open, we work hard to increase our rooms with availability. So more and more of our rooms are available for all people. And we think that it's a really important thing in the community and in the society that all hotels are available for everyone. I'm really looking forward to meeting you all in 2022 here in Malmö and Malmö Open. So take good care, and we'll meet again next year.
So thank you, Scandic Hotels. Okay, next question. Oh, Thomas, I think this one is for you. Can we expect more international competitors in the future?
Yes, that's something we're working for. We have the base is from Scandinavia, and then from many European countries, but Malmö Open is open for all international guests and competitors. And we're working with different countries to attract them, to get them to compete in Malmö Open in February. We're always trying to be at the Paralympic Games, of course, and different world championships to marketing the games. So today we're about, say, 25 to 30 different countries, but we're aiming for much more. So we're welcoming participants from all over the world.
It's kind of a giveaway in the name of the tournament, Malmö Open, right?
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
So maybe this question comes to mind right after this. How is the tournament developing?
Well, we're always aiming forward. We don't like to stand still. We're working with different federations all the time to try to develop. FIF, as a local organizer, can't stand on our own legs. It's getting too big. So having Parasport Sverige, Sweden, and the city of Malmö as co-organizers gives us more muscles. So I don't know if you want to help me out, Lisa.
Yeah, that's an important part of the development, to cooperate different partners, and also all the different sponsors are doing their part, and they're getting more and more involved in different sports, different parts.
Every year for each tournament, there's a need for between 400 and 500 volunteers to keep everything rolling. So how do I enlist to become a volunteer? Well, let's hear from Kerry in Scotland.
Hi, my name's Kerry. I'm from Scotland and I volunteered at the Malmö Open. I heard about the Malmö Open by complete coincidence when I was volunteering at the Rio Paralympics in 2016. I contacted the organisation so that I was able to travel to Malmö and volunteer at the Open. I had an amazing experience where I learned about more sports than I'd ever heard of, and it was completely wonderful. I strongly encourage you to volunteer because I had an unforgettable experience that I will remember for the rest of my life. To start your volunteer journey, all you have to do is contact the Malmö Open and let them know that you're interested. From the experience that I had, I can tell you that no matter your background, your experiences, or what you've done so far, that the Malmö Open is definitely the sport event for you to be involved in. I hope that one day I can return to the Malmö Open, and I hope that I will see you there.
Thank you so much, Kerry. So if I want to enlist as a volunteer, how do I do it?
Yeah, we have a lot of volunteers, but we constantly need more. So we have a form at the website. You can just go to Malmö Open website and fill in the form, and then we will get in touch with you.
Great. That's what you do. So, someone says some of your venues feel slightly outdated. Will you offer new venues in the near future? Maybe you know that, Lisa.
Yeah, so we're constantly working on the venues too. First of all, we are working to gather more sports closely together. And at the stadium area right now, they are building new venues, so we are a part of that too. And then we are looking at the old venues. We wanna renew them. If we're not moving the sport, we wanna renovate the old venues to make them work better.
So let's hear what Malmö City has to say about this exciting future.
My name is Magnus Klosén, and I'm working at the Swedish Parasport Federation. Since the beginning of 2019, we have a project where we are working and focusing on accessibility on sport arenas, and we have that project together with the 3 communities in Sweden. And one of them is Malmö. And over the years, we have been investigating a lot of facilities in Malmö and the other communities. And we have trying to describe the accessibility and also to find possible improvements.
And my name is Louise Esmo Nilsson, and I'm working for the municipal in Malmö stad and fritidsförvaltningen. And I'm the project leader for this project. And we have been out investigating different kinds of arenas with persons with different kind of disabilities. And we have work to improve the arenas, but also develop a strategy for our work in the future. And that strategy is focusing on 3 parts. One with to build new arenas, and the second part to develop arenas as Malmö Open or Special Olympics, and arenas for daily activities. This week we will meet 5th to discuss what's important to develop in the future, and this will also be important to the development of Malmö Open in the future.
Thank you so much. Okay, we've had a lot of questions come in about the table tennis tournament and the different classifications. I mean, it's a jungle out there. So let's talk to the national coach of the Swedish table tennis national team, right?
Correct. Hello, everybody. Nice to hear the big interest of the Malmö Open. And next year, we, of course, hopefully will have a big and tremendous event again here in Malmö. My name is Daniel Ellerman. I work at the Swedish Table Tennis Association. I'm the head coach of the para table tennis. Malmö Open is a very important tournament for Sweden and for Swedish table tennis. Already next year, we hope that Malmö Open will be a part of the new Swedish para tour. We will have 3 or 4 tournaments in this tour. And hopefully the tournaments will attract all the para players in Sweden, also international players. We, of course, will have a classification on these tournaments. We will not have an international classification, but the classification will be valid for all the Swedish tournaments. So hopefully this tour will start already in October, and with the first tournament, and in Malmö next year, February.
Thank you, Daniel. Hey, we got a lot of questions about the merchandise regarding and around the tournament. And someone asks, your selection of merchandise is limited. Are there more cool items coming in?
Yeah, there is. There's great interest in our line of merchandise. People collecting pins and T-shirts and all other stuff. But we're working close with our partners Adidas and Intersport, and there are new things coming all the time. So in 2022 you will see new stuff, cool stuff, and I hope it will not be as limited as it usually is.
That sounds promising. One of the last questions, maybe the last one for today, is between the games. Sometimes it's not so much to do between the games. So I think we have a suggestion on how to deal with this problem.
For next year, if I was able to make one suggestion, I would probably go with maybe putting on some kind of attraction or even distraction, if you like, in terms of other accessible sports such as showdown or sound football that are not so much organized but facilitated. So there are spaces to play these games, which will then allow other people to congregate and then get to know each other. So you can learn, get to know players from other teams, get to know other teams, and obviously improve and tighten our global community. I think it also take away from the long waits that some people have throughout the day. So that would be my only suggestion. Thank you very much.
Jack?
Yeah, I agree with that suggestion. I think it'd be a good idea to install some maybe outdoor game that anyone can just drop in or drop out of at any time. The other suggestion I have is maybe more variety of food choice during the breaks and lunches of the tournament. There was a very slim variety of food, but yeah, not a big issue.
Now that's interesting. Lisa, what do you say about it?
Yeah, that's a really good suggestion, and we will for sure work on that. Of course, we want all participants to have a lot of fun during the whole weekend when they are here, also when they're not playing matches. So we will work on that and see what we can do, what kind of fun activities we can offer, except the competitions, of course.
That's very good. Hey, good Q&A. Thank you very much, Thomas and Lisa. Sadly, this year, we won't be able to present any medals to very worthy athletes, as we usually do, because we can't be here. They can't be here. But next year, Thomas, what are your hopes and expectations that we actually can meet in real life then?
It's been a great ride, but nothing beats a physical Malmö Open, a great global meeting point. But next year, really hope to see you back at our venues, and we welcome all volunteers, athletes, sport leaders back to Malmö. So I hope to see you then.
We definitely hope for that. But this also has been a very interesting experiment. We hope that the digital version has presented you with some enjoyment. If you have any ideas for how we can make this even a better thing, please contact us. Maybe we can pick parts and pieces of this and put it together with the IRL experience next year. Till then, people, thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
See you.
Hello to everyone in Sweden and involved in the Malmö Open. We're sending our best wishes from Brighton Table Tennis Club. We absolutely love your competition and we love Fifth. And yeah, you have a very special place in our hearts. We look forward to coming back and we're training very hard when we're allowed. And we will be back stronger. Harry would like to say a few words.
Hi Nisa, I am Harry Fairchild and I am a child from teacher as well. I am looking forward to remember again and I want to be teaching this as well with you guys. And I can't wait to see you again as well. How you hold you there in the Open, I'll see you soon. I will give you a tour next day.
Thank you.
So from snowy Great Britain, I'd like to say from Christchurch Warriors, cheerio, have a great Malmö 2021, and we look very much forward to seeing you. If not an Espoo in July, then definitely Malmö 22. Okay, goodbye, and thank you very much for all that you do for us.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Hi all the friends in sports around the world. My name is Erkki Minala. I'm a goalball athlete from Finland and the gold medalist from the 2012 London Paralympic Games. Do as I and follow the digital edition webcast of the Malmö Open 21, which will be started on Saturday, 13th February at 1 p.m. I'm looking forward to meet all of you again next year in the great Malmö Open event.
Malmö Open, the never-ending story, 2018. 2019, 2020, 2021. We hope to see you on the web. 2022. We hope to see you in Malmö again.
Hi, I'm Roland Ahlgren from Lions Club Malmö Ellenbogen. We have been working voluntarily with Fifth Malmö, Malmö Open and Parasport since 2004. Due to the pandemic, we cannot meet all of you this year's competition. But we wish you all welcome back to Malmö Open 2022. And all the best and hope to see you next year. And please enjoy the digital show of this year's Malmö Open. Best regards, Roland Ahlgren.
Greetings from the sports of goalball and football.
We are all missing you here in Malmö this weekend, and we hope that you are all well wherever you are in the world. For the next year, we are working to get an even bigger and better tournament in both football and goalball, so we are looking forward to see you then instead. Please stay safe and see you next year.
Parasports athletes. I want to give you big ratings from the floorball team in FIF Malmö. Hold the distance and take care. Best wishes.
Greetings, Q-Sport lovers all over the place, and especially our wheelchair pool players. A year ago, we had two fantastic events back-to-back at Malmö Open 2020, and we also had a really nice prize ceremony at the gala dinner at the City Hall in Malmö. I was so hoping for us to be able to repeat that this year, but given the unprecedented times we're in, we have to wait another year. So with that said, I would like to welcome you all to Malmö Open 2022.
Hi everybody, my name is Tommy Ure. I'm a table tennis player from Norway. I'm the Paralympic champion from the London 2012 Games. I'm also won many European and World Championships. Normally this time of year I will be traveling to Malmö to compete in the great Malmö Open. This year will be a little bit different, so do as I, watch the digital edition of the Malmö Open starting this Saturday, 13th of February at 1 o'clock. I hope to see you all in Malmö next year, and in the meantime, take care and stay safe, and I'll see you all next year.